Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Let's now take you through the headlines on the front pages of the newspaper. We're joined this morning by Public Affairs Analyst Dotun Ojon. Our director, be warned. I wanted to give him special intro before you now review the person. You just went white. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. Are you from your state by any chance? Because I see you have
Coronation Day.
It's
Coronation Day.
We're on our way now. Yeah, we're on our way there.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Congratulations. On behalf of all of us here at New Central, we celebrate with. Are you really from your state?
Not from Ondo State.
Okay, all right, no problem.
We have somehow become a global citizen, somehow.
Apparently, we have. Let's get into the papers this morning, and to mention, as we always do every morning, you can call in and share your thoughts on any of the stories, and you can also drop your comments on YouTube. I'll be heading to YouTube shortly to pick some comments in the chat box. We're streaming live at New Central TV. Now, the front page of the papers this morning, beginning with the Punch newspaper. Let's see the big story there.
Coalition demands Atiku and Obi's full membership. I believe Mr. Atiku has joined fully, but Obi's full membership. I mean, this is just the Punch been trying to, make the headline scream. There's a directive from ADC that says, their publicity secretary, that says that everyone should resign their appointments in their current political parties and join the ADC fully. I guess the idea behind this is that you can't serve two masters. And what's the implication of this?
Okay, so is the
let's take all the stories first, and then we'll get back to that. APC, the writer says, APC others push back as coalition directs members to abandon parties for ADC. Ladoja ascends Olubadan throne. And the writer says Makinde cut short annual leave for coronation. Tinubu top dignitaries to attend historic ceremony. Once governor, now monarch. Ladoja's royal story. Why Ladoja's emergence was rancor-free. Balogun designate Olubadan's unique succession system. Oven fires forces Delta Lagos Atlanta flight diversion. Interesting. That's I'm glad disaster was averted. 6 hospitalized as yet another building collapse in Lagos. Marketers fault Dangote's 500,000 litre fuel delivery threshold. And 804 billion arms imports ignite calls for local production. Southeast governors pushing for Nnamdi Kanu's release, says Annex Orti. And Niger Delta militancy made Jonathan's presidency possible, says Ateke Tom. And finally, INEC gears up for off-cycle polls, promotes 471 officers. There you have it. Where do we start from?
Okay, I think we should start from the coalition. It's the highest sense of political responsibility for, in fact, it is illegal for one to actually have to be paraded the membership of 2 political parties. And either you're doing it disguising or you're doing it directly. And we must come to a point where we realize that the old saying that you don't put your eggs in one basket is counterproductive when it comes to politics. In politics, the principle of political commitment has made it very clear that the only way you can amount to anything politically is to be committed. You put your eggs in one basket, and you have to fight for it. You have to defend it. You have to do everything possible. One of the reasons why PDP is in disarray today, if you allow me to say, is because of people like former Vice President Atiku. At every point on all through his political journey, he has always had an option. And in this kind of situation where you have a political option, you just do here because you can run to the other side. So I think the best thing to do at this moment is for everyone. You want to belong to ADC. You want to sign up for ADC. You have to sign up. It is not because political party is not just about the figures in there. It's if the essence of if the essence of the coalition is actually to restore power in 2027, then every one of them must put their egg in one basket and ensure that they fight for it and defend the basket at the end of the day.
But this directive doesn't come with a time limit or ultimatum. So I guess the spirit of the letter now is appealing to their conscience that, look, this is the time to decide. And they might be stalling. But looking at the political calculations, we have Obi's name mentioned here. Atiku has fully joined. We know that. What might be causing this delay is Mr. Peter Obi not too sure of using the Labour Party as a tool.
Politically, as we speak this morning,
he's not 100% committed to the ADC project.
Even now, for Peter Obi, it's more of being sure than being committed. And unfortunately, it's quite unfortunate. The way things are now, he may lose out both sides. If
so
he doesn't,
a bird in hand.
He doesn't have anything in hand. He doesn't have anything in hand. If you look at Labour Party today, either you want to take it or not, it's almost in disarray. You look at ADC, there's internal wrangling and all of these things. Except all the major players come together and they show more commitment to this thing, it's not going to work this way. It's not going to work when... Do you know how popular Obi is? Obi is extremely popular, but it's not going to get... Option. It's not going to... Now, you are now introducing a third party. Once they have a third party, that means that it's even dead on arrival. Do you know the person they want to fight against? Can I read his credentials to you? The sitting president of Nigeria, who it was very clear that the powers in Aso Rock never wanted him to actually get the APC ticket. He understood and he had done a long time. And when you talk about political investment, it is not a subject of right or wrong. It's not a matter of right or wrong. He had done this political investment for a whole lot of years. And he has got a lot of people to rely on politically. And like I said, it's not a matter of right or wrong. So this is the person you want to use divided house to fight against, even in religious philosophy, when they say that divided house cannot stand against, that divided house cannot,
in itself cannot stand.
So it's not a person. If you are dealing with somebody who does not understand politics, you can say if it doesn't work here, it's going to work here.
Having a coalition, or is still individuals, because they don't seem to align in principle, because all these delays is really going to play a part at the end of the day.
Okay, so the coalition we have now is different from the coalition of 2014. The coalition we had in 2014 was coalition of political parties. Now, the coalition of now is coalition of political leaders. That means that ADC is standing as a political party. They are not expecting any other parties to come join them. What they are doing is they are poaching the heads and significant figures in all other political parties to come and join. And if they do it very well, there's a hope for them. There's a big hope. But where you cannot change somebody's political perspective. It's going to take a while to change it. Atiku's political perspective is always to have an option. And as long as you continue to have an option, look at what former President Buhari did with CPC. He actually stood from ANPP. He ensured that he carried his people along. But as we speak now, it's even difficult for the obedient to move from where they are now to ADC because they are not certain whether their principal will get the ticket. And because of what he has known, if you get to political party primaries, you will understand why Obi is afraid. Political primaries, people spend dollars in thousands to get delegates to vote for them.
Maybe he's
and he knows that he might lose out. Of course, it's very clear.
Waziri of Adama has gone there first, just like musical chairs, first to reach.
It's not even about first. Until they get to a point where they are clear about what they want. How did PDP get to this point? It was because they were going to convention and the powers that be were not strategic and disciplined enough to say, oh, we are zoning our ticket to one part of the nation. They threw it open. And they compared themselves with the party in power. The party in power has a leader, a unifying factor, the sitting president. But when your party is not in power, it becomes exceedingly difficult, if not practically impossible, to figure out one person who is going to be a rallying point to put all the forces together to support one person. So with the way we are now, opposition is at the lowest ebb in Nigeria because the ADC that people look up to be able to provide that kind of opposition, people are creating options left, right, and center.
Okay, I mean, the politics of Nigeria's politics is a story that is an unending journey.
Yeah.
Keep flipping the book and their latest developments. I still want us to look still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Open fire forces Delta Lagos Atlanta flight diversion. I know that Benga had touched on some of the stories. Niger Delta militancy made Jonathan's presidency possible. Ateka Tom says that. Do you think that's true?
That's not true.
Or Yaradra's death.
Yaradra's death simply just paved the way. With the Niger Delta militancy, it will still be a bit difficult for Jonathan to contest as an independent candidate. Independent in this sense that he didn't inherit, he didn't come to power through the death of his principal. It will have still been extremely difficult. It was not Niger Delta militant that killed Yaradra. It was the death of Yaradra that created the path for him. And because everyone at a point had come to love his demeanor, he wasn't power hungry. He didn't look as if he was somebody who was running around to get power. It was the same thing that happened in Ondo State. Governor Ayedatiwa, one of the soft spots that people had for him was the way he was treated when his principal was sick. I was in his office with about 10 or 11 other people at a point to actually tell him that we're with him. So it was not about the political party, it was about the fact that the demeanor of the then vice president, he wasn't hungry, and a lot of people just pitied him. And when he became president, that also happened in his 2011 election, because people just felt that let him continue. And they voted for him massively. So, but again, it is also important to say that the Niger Delta militancy at that point actually pointed the attention of the Yaradua government into the South-South zone. And he was the brain behind the amnesty that people enjoy today. Yes. You can walk on the street of my community, for example, now, and turn right and left, and you see people that have become lawyers through the amnesty program. You have doctors, in fact, you have pilots. That would have been impossible if not for the amnesty program.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay. Nnamdi Kanu, we are still on that matter. The Southeast governors are pushing for his release, according to Governor Alex Oti. I mean, we've been on this Nnamdi Kanu's matter for the longest time. Sometimes the heat is much. It feels like many people are canvassing for it. After a while, you don't hear about it. The last I heard about it was his lawyers were advocating for him to get some form of bail so that he can get his treatment. But we're still on this matter. Yeah,
it's painful. But again, the level of insecurity in the Southeast, a lot of people believe that if Nnamdi Kanu, or when Nnamdi Kanu is released, that it will calm the tension. Of course, you know there are another dimension of splinter groups that have come up and they've been kidnapping people in the name of unknown gunmen. But again, I think one solid thing about democracy is the ability of the government to abide by the dictates of the law through the court. So if the court grants anybody bail, I think to respect our democracy, that we should actually be bold enough to release such people. But again, security matter is always a matter that people want to run from, because without security, there can not be any nation.
I believe we have a call from Bayelsa State. Good morning. It's from Akwa Ibom, I beg your pardon.
From Akwa Ibom, yes. What I want to say is, on the newspaper headline saying the needful membership of Atiku and Obi. My dear brother, I will say this is the beginning of the end, because that is where the main matter is. Would they join or would they not join? One of them among the two people, in fact, Atiku, he's looking for where it will be well with him before he will move. So asking for full membership, that will not happen. And like I will always say, politicians are surprised that we believe them, even when they don't believe themselves. Those people who are asking them to come up with full membership, to come and join or stay out, they are also wasting their time, because these guys will scheme them to the point they will not believe. Finally, before I leave, I want to seriously ask Nigerian youth to rise up, join political parties where decisions are made, instead of us to always stay at home to complain and say this is this, this is this. My brother in the studio that is wearing glasses, I'm still waiting for election of your estate. I'm still waiting. If you want to do election, I'm campaigning for you seriously. That apart, before I go lastly. This nation called Nigeria, right now we are on one bar. The battery in this nation is remaining one bar. We need a good charger. Not all these chargers in all these political parties. So youth, rise up. We have a better charger. We, the youth, are better chargers to charge this nation back to where it is. Not all these people, all of them, you know, that I don't want to call their names. Those in Dubai, those of us everywhere we are, these chargers are not good. Even the current charger that we have now is not charging well. It's not charging very well, and we know it. Thank you.
Thank
you
so
very
much,
much.
Insikak, and I'll keep you posted on the elections in my estate.
Very important.
Back to national issues. He raised many salient points there, that it's politics is personality driven. He also talked about the importance of youth participation, that young people should go out there instead of complaining on social media. And, you know, join political parties, be part of the decision-making process. Why is this important? As someone that is very active in the political sphere.
Okay, so politics,
from your experience.
Yes, politics is about number. And there's one belief in the community that one political party is better than the other. I always get irritated when you think APC is the worst political party. You see most of those small parties that you don't know, they are worse than the party in government. And the only way to make a party sane is for sane people to populate it. It's as simple as that. When you're not surprised when APC was doing its primary and people voted for the sitting president over the former vice president, in terms of somebody who communicated his vision so clearly. But that will always happen if you don't have people who understand that kind of vision that is being communicated.
But looking
as
good
delegates.
on paper is different from the politics of it.
Let it look good on paper first. It has to look good on paper first. Let people be able to see it on paper first. You see, architecture is about papering before wedding.
Right.
You don't have to just go and wed before you. Let it be good on paper first. Let it be a vision that people can relate with.
Okay.
Then we can actually move on from.
I want us to talk
there.
about something that is good on paper, and this paper exactly is the Daily Times newspaper. On the front page of Daily Times, that's a good one, yeah. The Daily Times newspaper, something good on paper that you can see. Bottom middle area of the paper. Sokoto government declares free education, suspends collection of fees. Well, we are dragging the ones that are not doing well. I think it's important that we applaud the ones that are doing well. But let's get your thoughts on that.
Okay, so free education has been part of our democracy since inception. In fact, one of the beliefs then is the fact that once you educate a child, you're giving him an opportunity to thrive. Whether that belief is still in the marketplace now is a different ballgame entirely. But of course, we have to encourage people to get into the classroom because our reasoning is our result. Our thinking at the end of the day is our product. And the best way to actually alter the thinking of people is to get them into the classroom. But beyond free education, one of the strategies that I've canvassed for over the years is the fact that when you must make the classroom better than the parlor, so that you discourage people from watching television if they have an opportunity to do so. And what does that mean? If I know now, one of the things that the former government introduced is the school feeding program. The essence of it is to encourage people to leave their house because they will find bread. But at the end of the day, they destabilized it. They spent a whole lot of money, nobody talked about it. And when you get to this school, you see a loaf. They cut it into the middle and put raw stew instead of egg, instead of it. So we appreciate what the government is doing in Sokoto, and we want them to take it a bit further to make the classroom more attractive so that people will be willing to flow.
So like the classroom that we saw.
Feeding program. Can we have the headline of the Daily Times back up, please, producer? Yes, the picture there is about the school feeding program. That's the special advisor to Mr. President on school feeding, signing an MOU with the Kebbi, with an NGO in Kebbi State, still on the importance of the school feeding program. Maybe it will be revitalized, and I will try and facilitate a conversation with the special advisor to the president on school feeding, because it's very attractive and it's important.
It is extremely attractive
to give children food as a way of getting them to.
And one of the essence that was defeated initially, and I hope that they're going to work on it, is also to have a semblance of balanced diet. Because where I grew up, you took the food you took last night is what you wake up to. Sometimes it's very cold. You take it, you go to school, and you sleep all through in the class. So the idea is that let's have, especially in the rural communities, guys government does not seem to understand what's going on in rural communities.
Even Olive, with the look on her face,
I don't even
she's
know.
kind of shocked.
I don't even know
But
how.
what kind of child abuse is this?
I don't even know how to explain these things. I don't know how to explain because it looks impossible. But that's the reality. Do you know people still wake up and they can't go to school because there's nothing to eat? Is that bad? So that's the essence of having some of these things come back. So beyond free education, please let's make the class attractive. And one of the ways to make it attractive is, I think, what they are signing.
You're going to talk about the situation in Ekiti State.
Yes, we're making classrooms attractive, but we're seeing young pupils in Ekiti State scooping water. If we have the video, maybe we can quickly put it up. And it's a really heartbreaking video. They were flooded. Look at the class in Ekiti State. This is very, very terrible. Now,
again, because we need also to be very careful. The fact that you have this does not mean that the government is not doing anything. But here is it. Most government in Nigeria work because of the next election, not because of their own conviction. When you work according to your conviction, you look at it and say, I am going to touch these 3 sectors, the most important sectors. I am going to touch education, this and this. And you know that your 4-year tenure, you are heavy on this. The United Nations made a suggestion to us that our yearly budget, the allocation to education should be around 27%. How many states, not to even talk about the federal government, is actually tailoring their budget towards this? It is about winning the next election, stomach infrastructure across the community. So we need to be strategic. It doesn't mean that the government in Ekiti is not doing anything, but the fact is that most of our government in Nigeria lacks strategic focus in terms of what they want to achieve within 4 years. Problem plenty. But if you concentrate, and everybody will come to know that this is your priority. In 2007, if you drive to Ondo State, you don't need anybody to tell you that health is the priority of the government. In fact, Ondo State government was the first government to have tricycle. There's a clinic in a tricycle, and they transport pregnant women
mobile clinics. Yeah.
Yes, mobile clinic. They transport pregnant women from their home to the hospital. In case anything happens within the process, they can at least attend to them there. It was very clear. But when Arakuri Akeredolu came, his government destroyed everything that was built by Mimiko in terms of the health sector. What happened? He couldn't sustain that. He felt he had to pick another thing. The only thing that man was heavy on was security. Right. But it would have been better to maintain what your predecessor did and build on it.
Well, that's kind of what we see with governments of the day, where there's a lack of continuity. And like you said, we need to be able to come into a state and know what is your priority.
What's your priority?
Here on Breakfast Central, our priority is going to move from newspaper reviews to entertainment. Thank you so much, Dotun Ojon, for joining us.
It was a pleasure.